Yeah. And if we look back, these are the trees, the big trees. That one there, this one there, this one, and then that one. And those are the big tulip trees that make Martin Forest famous. So just try to imagine 1,000 years ago, the Native Americans on the banks with their villages, wigwams in the woods back there and back there against the hillside. Maybe little plots of corn and squash. The three sisters, right? Corn, squash, and beans. The Lenape grew corn, squash, and beans as a form of agriculture. And you can just try to imagine the villages that would have been here. Isn't that beautiful? Ah. Sometimes it's fun to just destroy stuff, right? And that's the thing, like, about history. These places are beautiful, and being a human is hard because as humans, it's sometimes really fun to destroy beautiful things, right? There's a pleasure in destruction. It's like, when you get a bunch of bubble wrap and you want to pop all the bubbles, or you take a sledgehammer and you want to break all the fine china you can find. There's something tempting about that, and I always try to keep in mind whenever I hear like really, really devastating stories of people who destroy ancient monuments, or these idiots in the Mojave Desert out west who push over these millions of years old little rocks that have been balanced in precarious ways by the wind and the erosion, and they'll just come and knock these rock monuments over, and it's just terrible. It really sucks, but I think it's also really important. They should be prosecuted, obviously, or punished in some way, but it's also really important to realize that destruction is also creation, and everything's in flux, right? Change is the only constant. And just as these woods are changing, just as that tree, these massive trees, they will die, they will pass away, and all things change. All things change. It's really important to keep that in mind as we're traveling through history, through these ancient landscapes. Enjoy it while it's here. Enjoy it while it's here, right? But I was just trying to say, I kind of understand why people do these destructive things. Not everyone's evil, and not everyone who destroys things means to do so in a harming way. They don't mean harm. They're probably usually just unaware of the impact that they have on other people when they destroy beautiful things. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt as much as possible, because life is hard and you got to get your kicks in life. And if you get your kicks, as long as you're not like a sociopath who has trouble empathizing, or you're destroying things just to get a rise out of other people and make people angry, I think if there's some redeeming value, maybe you can say it's like artistic or something. But you got to get your kicks. You got to have fun. And not everybody knows People have various levels of ignorance about these things, and if you're destroying things for fun, well, I wish you didn't. I kind of also understand why you did, and you shouldn't. But I think there's a bit of empathy that I have for people who destroy things, because I can understand the urge, and I think forgiveness and reconciliation are really important. They're huge parts of human life, reconciliation and forgiveness. That there are huge parts of human life that in America we don't always focus on. In fact, I would say these days reconciliation and forgiveness are not well celebrated in our culture, and they should be celebrated much more. I think if we can learn anything from the story of William Penn and Chief Tamanend, and the peaceful way in which the Quakers tried to settle Pennsylvania, and the preservation of forests like this by the Martin family. Thank you to the Martin family, right? If there's anything we can learn about these efforts, for me at least, it's to have some grace about change and preserve what we can and enjoy it while it's still here. And, not fault ourselves for destroying it by building things like this Blue Route straight through the oldest forest in Delaware County. I don't know. These are complicated topics, but I think about them a lot, and I try to have some grace, have some understanding, have some forgiveness for ourselves and for our people, for our community. Pennsylvanians, anyone from Southeast, the Mid-Atlantic region, really, Delaware, Maryland, even Virginia, New Jersey. We have a legacy of colonization that, we have to deal with at some point, or continue to deal with. And we're continuing to change the landscape as we always have over the past 400 years, 500 years. We're not the Lenape. We're not living, there's this idea that the Lenape and the Indians in general were ecological Indians, right? And this is a heavily criticized concept. I'm not an expert at all, so forgive me if I'm spreading stereotypes, but there's this notion that the native people lived in harmony with the land, right? And I think that's fairly true. I don't see any reason why that seems fairly true. I mean, you could make an argument that like 10,000 years ago, maybe 15,000 years ago, there were elk in this region, and there were buffalo, and there were megalithic fauna, megafauna, that's what I mean. Megafauna, like, in the Great Plains, there would have been millions and millions of buffalo. And they're all gone now, so, the buffalo is obviously the settlers, but I'm talking about saber-toothed tigers, and not saber-toothed tigers, giant sloths or woolly mammoths. That's the big one. I think humans, I think woolly mammoths are a good example of, there probably would have been woolly mammoths in Pennsylvania. There probably would have been elephants in Pennsylvania, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there would have been woolly mammoths walking around here 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 years ago. Maybe 20 or 30,000. But they're not here anymore, and it's because of us. It's because we killed them all. There was climate change and all that too. But anyway, the point is, humans have an impact on the landscape, and we're changing everything all the time. And I try to keep in mind that as settlers who came after the Lenape, the original people, they lived in harmony with this land, and they didn't change it much for thousands of years. And now look, there's a huge highway behind me, and this ballpark here, and somewhere down that trail, at the other end, are the last of the great trees of Delaware County in this area. They're the largest ones back there on Swarthmore. Largest Swarthmore tree is back there, and that's it. So we gotta remember it. We gotta visit it while it's still here, and be kind to ourselves and give ourselves grace for the destruction and change that we brought to this land as non-original people. Yeah, that's it. So anyway, my name's Sean. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. I definitely do. Oh, I see a shadow of a bird. Oh my gosh, do you see it? I hope you saw that. Massive hawk. Here, it's coming back. Let me flip it. It's going into the sun. There it is. Perfect. All right, a little blurry. How you doing? A little blurry, so I couldn't really see it, but that's a perfect send-off. You know, the ancients are with us, and they are watching. That bird is proof, in my mind. A little superstition, maybe, but it's from the old gods. The old gods are here. So, yeah, let's take a look at this tree. This must be some kind of holly tree. It's been planted here, just probably for decoration. But if it's oh no, you know what? I think it's actually a rhododendron. Yeah. It's a rhododendron, so this is a native species of tree. That's great. I believe rhododendrons are native. Oh, great, so we'll finish it here under this native rhododendron tree. And we'll just say, like, you know, if you like these videos, please like and subscribe and leave a comment. If you know anything about the history of the Martin Forest, or the history of trees in Delaware County in southeastern PA, or really this region of the Delaware in general, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. If you know of any other huge trees in the area, I'd love to see them. But in general, just, you know, like and subscribe, because I'll be doing more of these videos. Man, that hawk is really just circling. It's a red-tailed hawk. Yeah, look at it. Wow. What is it doing? It just landed. Okay. All right, this was a long video. Thanks for coming along. So, yeah, I'll end it there. Thanks. Bye.